Hi guys, thanks for joining us. Welcome to Sketch and Scotch.
Hi everybody. How's everyone doing?
All
The
right.
delay always makes me feel like I'm being ignored, like no one's listening. So we had a fun weekend. We did the TNT show.
Yes, with Scott, except Scott's not in the room right now. He's getting markers so he can try to alter. He's trying to use Steve's markers to do it, and those markers love to
Apparently they like
barf everywhere.
Let's
Like-
see if I can barf art all over this card.
Yes, there's lots of people here. It's awesome.
And all the people who are waiting 15 minutes because that's always how long it takes us to actually figure it out.
Yeah. It's anticipation.
I see what you did there.
I learned it from watching Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Never actually thought of that film as educational, but I guess so.
I learned a thing or two.
Yeah.
When I
You learned a lot when you watched that movie. You
That's
kidding
true,
me?
Actually,
It was one of those things where so many people had talked about it, and so many of my friends had been like, "You haven't seen it? Are you even human?" That they finally...
Oh, I'm so
Made me
proud.
watch
Robert
it.
the 55th totally got it. Janet says do a doodle Rocky Horror mixed with Lemony Snicket. Steve would have to know more about Lemony Snicket, I think, in order to do that. Yes, that's what they're chatting up on here. And Neil Patrick Harris. Well, they're talking about how Neil Patrick Harris is awesome in it. Neil Patrick Harris is awesome in everything.
yeah.
He's just awesome. I think you just end the sentence there.
I finally watched Dr. Horribles the other day. Like
I
watch it in
love
so
that.
long.
Isn't it the greatest?
That was amazing.
The
But in the
J
meantime,
Doodle, just to let people know, you will have, Steve has 5 or 10 minutes to draw a random thing that he just heard about, but you guys will have the entire show to do a quick little sketch. It can be something simple like stick figures, but you do your rendition of it and get it digitized somehow and get us a link to it in the Twitch stream. Today's topic, are you ready, Steve?
Okay, let's do it.
Classic movie monsters on vacation. We'll give you an initial 5 minutes, and if you entertain us, we shall give you a thumbs up. Be ready, people on the chat, to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if he continues after 5 minutes. Jay Stiller says Godzilla chilling on the beach. You could do like the creature from the Black Lagoon in a museum. You know, very educated.
In an aquarium.
At the aquarium.
Does the mummy just chill in a museum on vacation?
And the mummy is like inspecting sarcophagi at a museum. That century was not as good as this century. Or maybe he starts
Do you think
looking
the
for a new
mummy would be at a
sarcophagus.
spa?
Yeah, a mummy would be at a spa. Good. Yeah, he does need a lot of
Moisture.
moisture. I like that.
Okay, Steve, I have absolutely no idea how you do not get totally stoned high using these markers.
I am
He
pretty
does.
sure I have lost at least 50 IQ points from those markers.
I have doodled like a good 3 seconds with them, and I'm already like buzzed.
Yeah, they're horrible. They're probably going to be the reason I die young. I'll find they'll be like, "Oh yeah, it turns out that stuff has super cancer in it."
It at Disneyland is another one Easy Money put out there.
It like Pennywise.
It could be it or it could be Cousin It. I'm not sure.
Oh, that would be much less horrifying.
The topic for Squamwork last week was
World War
classic propaganda posters, but yeah, do whatever you want, but in a propaganda poster theme or art style. And the focus, if you were doing an art focus, was just getting that old school style. At the end of the show, Steve gives a topic for people to draw over the week and turn in during the show this week. That's what we mean when we refer to Squamwork.
What I didn't realize until I started looking up reference was just how terribly, terribly racist and violent some of those propaganda posters were.
Yeah.
Holy
Seriously.
crap. What I remember when I thought of, what should we do? Propaganda posters. Yeah, I haven't done those. Let's do those. Because what I remember was the Uncle Sam, I Want You, and Rosie the Riveter, and buy treasury bonds, and buy war bonds. And I remember most of them being like inspirational, where it's everybody's coming together to get something done. And then I look up World War II propaganda posters, and it's just like, a lot of them were pretty bad.
That's the thing, the ones that you still see are the ones that people can still use and are patriotic and rah-rah.
Yeah, you don't get the ones that are just aggressively anti-Japanese or I mean, a lot of them were just monstrous in their depiction of there's a whole series called This Is the Enemy, and oh my gosh, H.R. Geiger would be like, wow, that guy needs some help. These are just too dark.
All right, Steve, you are at 5 minutes. Start the voting, guys. Should Steve keep drawing? Should we give him another couple minutes? That 5 minutes went faster than most 5 minutes.
I know. I must be slow because I thought I'd get a lot farther.
Yep. All right. I vote thumbs up. Janet says draw.
Sure.
Astroxa says sure. All right. I got
But I almost
homework.
feel bad assigning that as homework because I feel like I may have like scarred some people who don't deserve it. And maybe that's just weird on my part because I didn't feel weird saying, yeah, let's do like Mad Max Fury Road crazy post-apocalyptic stuff. But it's like, these propaganda posters, they're just too real.
There's real anger and hatred in there.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is it's not fictional characters. These were people that a lot of us knew. I mean, both my grandparents were, or grandpas were in World War II. So
Neither of mine were.
Really?
Yeah. My one grandpa, I know it sounds weird. My one grandpa was a conscientious objector, so he was in Switzerland during the war. And so he joined the medical corps instead. And my other grandpa was a beekeeper. And they considered beekeepers one of those necessary war effort jobs that they didn't get drafted for. Because the honey is that important.
the honey makes the mead. And soldiers can't work without the mead.
The honey can also work as a nice antiseptic because it's got so much sugar nothing can grow in it.
Yeah, my grandpa, my Japanese grandpa, he's Japanese, for those out there, that he's Japanese American, born and raised, he's Hawaii, and all his friends joined the 442 and went and fought in Europe, but they wouldn't let him join because he was an engine rewinder. He worked with electrical engines, and the same thing, they consider that vital to the war effort, and they wouldn't let him go in. So he actually, he went down to sign up when they opened it up to the Japanese Americans. And his boss was like, no, and he blocked him. And so my grandpa just kept his mouth shut until his draft came up, and then went in.
My two grandpas both had pretty different experiences. My Argyle grandpa, he was like that war movie style where he slept in foxholes and was shot at all the time and had all that horrible thing. And what's weird to me, and even to my dad, was we didn't find out most of this stuff until his funeral. Like, he never said a word. You know, it was one of those experiences that was so harsh that it just never came up again. And my grandpa, on my mom's side, he was a mechanic. I get a little of my art streak from both sides of the family. My mom's side of the family, they like art, they like to do art, more of a...
All right, your
Okay.
10-second 5 minutes is up, Steve.
Okay, well, I'm done. I got Frankenstein on the beach with some kind of a Long Island iced tea or something, and he's getting his nails done.
Aww, he could totally use a manicure and a pedicure. I could see that.
Last week, we did a little bit of concept art type stuff for some bottles, and I thought maybe a poison counter. I haven't done a Zbrush thing for a while, so I thought maybe I'd model a little poison counter in Zbrush.
Oh, Zan made an interesting drink that he thinks you might like, Steve.
Oh yeah? Tell me.
Midori Citronge, which is patron orange liqueur,
I have that, and it's lovely.
and MD Voltage.
I just made a quick little bottle in Maya because it's easier to model.
Cat's BFF is on chatting. Woot.
Hi, Cat BFF.
Hey Cats BFF, we used your picture at our live show on Saturday.
Yeah, we did a whole crowd question about based off of your painting or your drawing.
And the Liliana in the prom dress.
Yes, the one of the trivia or game show questions was based on your picture from last week. Who would take Liliana to the prom?
Who in their right mind would ask out Liliana, and what were they thinking?
The two answers ended up being me, not me, but the person who answered was me, and the other was anybody. Come on, I mean, look at her.
It was pretty great.
So thank you for that awesome picture.
Yes.
Sparked some interesting debate.
Yes, it
at the
did.
show.
my grandpa was he was an artistic fella, and he was kind of a bit of a sculptor, and he liked to restore old cars because he's a mechanic. And so he got put in the motor corps as a mechanic. They assigned him a particular tank, right? This is your tank. You need to keep it looking good and running well and doing all that. They had some downtime to start where he just basically was supposed to make sure it was all ready to go and whatever else he needed to do. And he was really bored. He had several weeks before they had to go anywhere with this tank. So he went into town and he bought a bunch of fancy paint, and he painted it to be this sort of iridescent metallic chrome black. It was super pretty, right? So the guy who was in charge went, okay, well, this is no longer really good for war because it's really easy to see. But you know what? We do a lot of community stuff where we go and we throw candy out to kids in streets we've occupied and stuff like that. So we're going to put you basically in the parades. He kind of got out of actually having to see much battle because he made something too pretty to blow up. And
he just did the propaganda parades.
Yeah. He did got transferred at one point, and the new commanding officer was so pissed off that he had made a tank non-regulation that he made him strip all the paint and recolor it in the standard, ugly sand brown. He said, well, they really like us in the parades. Are you sure you want to do this? Because we're nowhere near the active battle zones anymore, and we're not scheduled to be anywhere near them. Are you sure? But he's like, regulation. So he put it back the way it was supposed to be. And then his commanding officer got a call that they wanted the parade tank. And he's like, oh, well, I took care of that. That's no longer a problem. They were so pissed. Whoever is in charge of the commanding us, they were so mad that they made him go to all the local stores and get all the stuff that he needed to his commanding officer to repaint it and restore it to its former glory, because they were saying this does so much more good than shooting at people because it's pretty, it's inspiring. We use it to promote America, and so you've just ruined a perfectly great, I guess, propaganda engine. I don't know. I guess I picked up some of that art helps you cheat from my grandpa.
No, that's brilliant though. It's just, I like it because it's like, hey, look, you can reach more people in a positive way.
Yeah.
Generally, if you make friends instead of shooting their family.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
it turns out so much better. And my grandpa, he kept doing parades. I went to a bunch of them as a kid, and I did not appreciate them. I hated them as a kid.
Robert the 55th says, that's an awesome story. Excellent moral. Art helps you cheat.
Art makes everything better. I am totally on board with Drew Baker's new religion. Art makes life better. I mean, now I cheat having a job with art, but even in like high school, I would get away with a lot by decorating my assignments. I didn't do too much of that, I guess, in high school, but I still think it helped having that. If I make it pretty, I might get more points and stuff.
By the way, Brittany said, sad story, nose art is really taboo now in the Air Force.
Oh, really? Nose art on bombers and fighters?
That's what she said. And she is our definite resident expert on that.
Oh, why is it a taboo? I can see too that a lot of those were they were a little on the sexist side because they were just buxom bomber girls and some aggressive sloganing I have seen. So I guess I can see it. At the same time, it almost seems old enough to be classic now.
What she says with the reasoning is it's being covered up, hidden, and removed because it's offensive and has no place in today's military.
Okay,
I think today's military just takes themselves too seriously. Brittany did actually agree with they're trying to combat that sexual assault in the military, and that's one of the ways the Big Blue felt it helps.
I think at a point in time it was probably good for promoting, but now the fighters promote themselves. They're just so cool with such advanced tech.
Definitely.
I can only begin to fathom the sort of cool stuff that they have now. I got a sneak peek when I was first starting in 3D, a sneak peek that I should not have gotten. So I'm hoping I don't think I'd get in trouble, but one of the places I worked for did 3D models for fighter jets for simulators, right? And that was really under lock and key. They were not supposed to, nobody was supposed to see it if they weren't working on it. I was an intern, so I definitely shouldn't have seen it. But at the same time, everybody who wanted lunch or whatever needed the intern. And so they would be like, yeah, we need that kid to come in and take our order. And I'm supposed to be vetted and I'm supposed to have all this security clearance, but they're just like, yeah, no, he just needs to take a lunch order. Just let him in. And so I got to see what at the time, this is like 1995, was the stuff nobody's supposed to see, super high-end fighter jets, and that was awesome. At the same time, the technology that was available in 3D at the time, we were still working with polygon modeling that was limited to a few hundred things. This is like Tomb Raider 1 days, where nothing was really that high resolution.
Controller Freak was saying at Quentin's he met during playing Magic, his mom was a pinup model whose likeness was used on an American bomber.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of cool.
See why they're getting rid of it, and I agree with it. At the same time, I think I will miss it. But at the same time, I don't think it would look the same on a modern jet as it did on those old like Mustangs and B-52s and stuff. Yeah, well, as I understand it, the whole like Top Gun dogfight has been gone since World War II. Like, there's, if you shoot down another plane, it's that you see a little blip on your radar, and you are authorized to push your button. You're never going to see another fighter. It is kind of interesting to me how modern war would need to be waged, because the technology has moved so far that if you had two major powers, like right now we're fighting, we're kind of fighting insurgent groups that are not great. They're not really that well equipped compared to nations. It kind of makes you wonder how I don't want to find out. Let me just put it that way, because I'm not a fan of war, but at least actual war. Fictional war is lots of fun, but
Yeah.
so much has moved forward in communication and surveillance, speed.
I'm gonna go grab some more markers.
Oh, how'd the markers turn out
I
for
think
you?
these were, other than getting me totally high, or maybe in addition to getting me totally high, they worked pretty well, and it didn't throw up on my card
So far.
so far.
Scott, how's the editing going on your TNT show from last Saturday?
It's good.
And we'll link you guys when it's up so that you can watch me humiliate myself by answering questions in a very short amount of time.
A little verbal sneak preview. You'll get to see Steve doing interpretive dance, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you'll never see that again, by the way. That's,
Say well. Now, Robert the 55th is getting philosophical about the interesting thought, does poison hurt itself? And if it's a bottle holding the poison, is it injured by the poison it carries? Well, if it's the proper bottle for poison, then no. But that's something we've learned from Mythbusters and other things, is you have to make sure you're using the proper bottles for carrying stuff.
I don't use ZBrush that much these days, and so I'm constantly trying to use my Photoshop hotkeys and being like, why isn't it doing anything?
To bring something back to TNT show, I'm gonna kind of steal this from it. Or an old TNT show question. It's, what is your favorite fantasy place you would never want to visit?
Oh, like what fantasy world? Right?
Yeah, or however you want to interpret it, but it's your
Okay.
question. Why are you asking me?
Oh, I don't know. It's just... Yeah, like, so what's your favorite, like, maybe your favorite fandom, movie series, or book or something that you love, but you never ever actually want to go visit that world?
Yeah.
Because like Game of Thrones,
That's good.
very cool. Never, ever, ever would want to be there.
Yeah, Westeros would be a horrible place to be.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about Discworld. Right?
Ankh-Morpork would be...
Both awesome and horrible.
we'd all be like a little two-flower. Just, I want to see adventurers. I want to see adventure.
So it'd be okay to be two flower because you're probably going to be okay, but I'd probably end up more like a Rincewind, but dying.
And some of your favorite characters you'd never really want to meet. Like, Death is great in Discord.
Oh my
But
gosh.
you don't... Yeah.
Controller Freak said Midgar from Final Fantasy VII. Instant lung cancer. Poison Stripe said
Panem.
Westeros. Panem.
Panem. Yeah.
Panem. I could totally see that.
Yeah,
Roshar.
I think, yeah, that
Hunger
would be,
Games World.
That would be crappy.
Yeah, that would totally suck. Luthadel.
Yeah.
That's the one I said. Luthadel. Which is... Roshar is basically almost like a desert that has giant storms come through. But there are some places on Roshar that are okay. Like, if you get farther out, there's like the water wetlands areas that are okay. Pretty much the whole planet from Mistborn, for the beginning of Mistborn, like Luthadel and stuff, just sucks.
Yeah,
It's all
trying to
just
kill you.
ash and death.
It's funny, Dan. Dan Payton says Star Wars, and he's talking about because you have the Empire, the First Order, the Hutts. And it's funny, Dan, because like of all the when we talk about this, that's the one place I say I would love to go is to the Star Wars universe.
Well, Star Wars is another one of those that it depends on where you go because,
Yeah.
you know, Dagobah sucks, Tatooine sucks.
Alderaan would have been really nice until, you know...
Yeah, I was gonna say with my luck, I would just end up on Tatooine doing nothing but vapor farming for the rest of my life.
And like, you know, Endor is kind of a forest paradise.
Dude, no,
Kashyyyk.
I forgot the name of the new planet in Force Awakens, the final one where they on the final fight, which is like Planet Hawaii.
Oh, not Force Awakens, but Rogue One.
Rogue One, yes.
That
thank
was
you.
a nice
I'm like, that's the
place,
planet
yeah.
I want to go
Yeah,
to.
the resort world that they decided to build their turbo beacon thing.
Metal Pegasus says Ravenloft. Yeah, that would suck. Derry, Maine. Is that fictional? I mean, it might be. Enlighten me. I don't remember Astroxo. Real estate on Alderaan is really hot.
But
I haven't read the Darth Vader comics yet, but I've seen a couple of little bits of it that make it look pretty badass. He, at one point, is trying to remind someone of the power of the Empire, and he just hands them a rock. And they're like, okay, what's this? It's like, that's Alderaan.
Oh.
Ouch.
Astroxo says Derry, Maine
That's
is fictional.
Is that like a Stephen King? That's all I think of with
Could be a
Maine.
Stephen King.
It is Stephen King. Is that the, what was it? Like, it was one of his early books, The First Vampire.
Hmm?
Full Metal Pegasus said the bad pun. However, most epic pre-fight threat. Like all diabetics, you will pay for your insulin. Derry, Maine is the setting for it. Yeah, that'd be a horrible place.
You know what else is some horrible places is some of those old monster movies, like the original King Kong and Son of Kong and stuff, where they live in this jungle world where everything is 10 times the size it's supposed to be, including the spiders. They have like horse-sized spiders. Speaking of which, Mordor, yeah.
Mordor, yeah.
Mordor would be pretty horrible.
Well, but that's not the whole planet. I mean,
That's
if you
true.
could go to the Shire and
We've been to the Shire,
I
and it's
know.
amazing.
and have 11sies.
Yeah, if you ever have any reason to go to New Zealand, do it. Do it and go to the Shire. Because Hobbiton is real, and it's amazing, and you can eat there.
Yeah, if you sign up ahead of time, they have dinners that you can do. And it is like a Hobbit birthday feast where there's just piles and piles and piles of food on the table.
Cabot Cove. Where's that one, Dan?
I don't know Cabot Cove, Dan.
A little bit of a tangent, but have you guys seen the CGP Grey YouTube series where he defines all the weird questions that everybody has about Lord of the Rings, like why did he make 10 rings and why did he give them
It's
to
cool.
people and what is it about the one ring that's so special? Does it really just make you invisible or what? Where does Gandalf come from? Why is he so old and all that good stuff? He's the only one who's ever explained the ring to me in a way that made sense.
Murder, She-Wrote is set in Cabot Cove.
Oh,
Guess a lot of people die
a lot
there.
of people died there, yeah.
So they're discussing where the elves go. The West is not on Middle Earth.
See, I always wondered if the whole Fields
Yeah,
of
exactly,
Evergreen
the
in the
ring.
West, like, I always wondered if that was their, like, an actual place that they went and they could go, because they always said you couldn't come back. So I always wondered if it was their metaphor for death.
By the way, back to places you'd never want to visit. Cthulhu, like a Lovecraftian.
Innismouth?
Yeah, Innsmouth, Arkham.
I just today got my notification that my Kickstarter for an Innsmouth sketchbook by an artist I've liked for
it's
many
not your
years.
Kickstarter. It's a Kickstarter
Yes.
you back.
Mark Nielsen, who does a lot of pen and ink stuff, and who I just loved as a kid, and I feel bad because I, for a long time, thought he was RK Post, until RK Post was like, yeah, no, I never did that. But he did an Innsmouth sketchbook, and it looks amazing.
Asteroxo says New York in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, no kidding.
Metropolis of Gotham.
2, I'd rather go to Metropolis because Gotham's just trouble. But
Yeah.
Metropolis has its share of problems, to be sure.
I agree. Gotham would be way worse to go to than Metropolis. All right, Steve, are you almost done for the night?
Sure. This is the sort of thing that I could call done now, or I could noodle for hours and hours.
Because then, don't tell people that. They're gonna just want you to doodle for hours and hours, and I have to go to bed.
Well, eventually you'll see this.
But bed.
The plan here is a lot of you, or some of you, are on my Patreon, and so I'm going to be restructuring it a little bit so that I can do a lot more tokens. So you should be seeing this as a poison counter.
You guys got 5 minutes to get me your J Doodle of a monster, a movie monster on vacation.
Sounds like some good ones are already coming in.
Yeah, that's great.
Gosh. And then we'll also discuss people's squam work.
Alright, so this looks like Dan.
The very first one on the list, yep. And this
Steve needs
so
you
the
to
squirm
become a
works.
minion.
Again, to review for people, the squam work assignment was propaganda. Your take on old school propaganda posters. This first one is Dan's propaganda poster for you, Steve.
And it looks totally like me. It's got the disheveled hair and the confused look, and it's got quite a likeness. Good job. And then we have a Mario Brothers.
I like this one a lot.
The
This is
Koopa
M.
King.
Dizzy's.
That's awesome. That's got that very classic propaganda poster look too. The simple colors, strong graphic treatment, very nice.
Dan also gave you an extra one that was a West version one that had an asterisk at the bottom that says "Bring your shovel," I believe.
Steve wants you to join the Ascended Minion Project today.
Yes.
This Cat's BFF?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Chandra and Liliana, my favorites. Very nice. Very nice indeed. They could totally recruit for me too. Like, I would get so many new minions.
Yes, Cat's BFF one is great to join the Minion Project. Her and Dan were channeling the same idea.
Yeah.
But I like that Cat's BFF one is totally done with like the big caps letters, like the old school propaganda posters.
And here we have Beckany, or Becanny, I don't know which way you want to pronounce
I'm
it.
not sure either.
Read more pigeon books! Drive a bus, eat hot dogs, stay up late!
She said she was inspired. I guess she teaches kindergarten kids or really young kids, and she was inspired by them.
They can be quite inspiring.
Yes.
Kids are so creative.
It's so true.
They make me feel like a hack.
Oh, so Becanny is... Oh, Steve, you were kind of right on the... It's Becanny, or Becanny. It's a...
Beckany.
It's a combo of Rebecca and Anne.
And we have an Amonkhet propaganda poster. Don't let plans and schemes fail. Join the fight against the Gatewatch today.
That one's Asteroxo.
Very nice. Yeah, Tezzeret and Bolas, those are both jerks.
Supreme leaders.
Oh, right. Men of vision.
Great foresight.
Leaders.
This one was mine. It's Black Widow.
That's Black Widow.
It's Black Widow in the front.
Keep mum. She's not so dumb. Careless talk ruins schemes. Red Skull looks so irate, like he's blaming Loki for all of this.
I think he's kind of got RBF.
Yeah.
It'd be
He's
hard
got a
not
skull.
to if you had your face burned into a permanent red skull. I mean, Doctor Doom is usually pretty grumpy too, but you can't really tell because his mask looks angry, but so what?
Yeah, Bakari is saying everyone did a great job on the propaganda posters. I agree.
Alright, now we're moving on to the J Doodles.
The J Doodles. And Dan had his done again before you. Dan's was the Invisible Man at the beach.
Ah, okay. I get it now. It's like, oh, where's the monster? The Invisible Man at the beach. Does he sunburn still? I mean, the light rays pass right through him,
That's a
right?
good question.
I don't think he can sunburn. Yeah,
Yes.
Aster also pointed out that, this is a little bit adult because that means he's nude sunbathing.
That's true. This is supposed to be a mostly not safe for work broadcast.
Yeah, M.
There are
said that
children
before.
watching.
This one's so cute.
We have the Blob having a nice day at the beach too,
Yes.
with
What
a purple martini. Is it like?
Maybe
What?
it's the one that Zan was telling you to make. It's a Cosmo, is what Controller Freak says.
Ah,
And the Blob is, by the way, a girl.
well, the Cosmo.
You like Cosmos?
I do. I like Cosmos. I like all girly drinks. I make girly drinks most of the time. My sister-in-law, Allison, thin, pretty, blonde, I made her a drink and she went, "This is really sweet and girly. Do you just have scotch or something?" And I was like, oh. I made a drink way too girly for one of the girliest people. I shouldn't say she I guess I wouldn't describe her as girly. She's a scientist. She's brilliant. She's fun. She's snarky. But in the context of all of us, me and our dude buddies and Kat's brothers, she was the girl in the group, and I made the drink that was too girly for her. It's wintertime because everybody wants a day at the beach. You got Dracula having a nice day at the beach.
It's hiding under his umbrella.
He's a smart man. I would bring a bigger umbrella.
This isn't Dracula at the beach. This is Steve at the beach.
I would have a bigger umbrella, and I would be inside. Everybody's got that thing where they don't get why other people enjoy it, and for me, it's basically all of the outdoors. I get that people love the outdoors, and it's very therapeutic for a lot of people, and it's the beauty of nature and being one with the universe and all that stuff. And for me, it's you get sunburned, you get cold, you get eaten by bugs, and that's what being outside
said
is. It's like
Dracula.
Bakari.
Yep, that one's Bakari.
Awesome.
I love he's even got the little light reflector in the middle of the.
There's moonlight. He's moon.
I know,
right? This
that's
is moon
what's killing
bathing.
me. I just love that he's got the reflector out in the moon, in the middle of a graveyard.
See, that's closer to my kind of vacation, because if it's dark outside, I don't sunburn. The moon so far has not yet burned me.
Not yet.
Okay, we got is this the Abominable Snowman?
This is the marshmallow from Frozen.
Marshmallow from Frozen. Oh, or is this?
That's Cat's BFF.
Okay.
Finally got his vacation where he wanted.
Yes, the marshmallow. The big monster. Yes, that always wanted his vacation. Aww. It's a really good rendition of him. He's
Yeah.
so cute.
Super cute.
Melty.
Except that he is melting. Maybe they can give him his own little snow cloud like they gave to the snowman.
Werewolf Vacation.
That one's Astaroth, so.
That's great.
We were chuckling at that one. I wouldn't have
Yes.
thought of it, but if I were a werewolf, that's where I'd want to
It's
go.
heaven.
Cans.
This is Poison Stripes. I believe it's the tremor worms, and I love the bikini.
Oh yeah.
That's great. That's a very nice touch.
It's killing me.
But where's Kevin Bacon?
He's in his belly.
Yeah.
His vacation.
Her belly.
Her
She's
belly.
wearing a bikini. I love the little heart coming out of her little mouth. Oh, that's so cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah, boy.
And this one's mine. Like I said, I remember propaganda posters being mostly like Rosie the Riveter and stuff, so I decided I was going to go with that and do Mercy the Resurrector or something.
I missed Cat's
Did we
BFF's
miss one?
prom pic. You gave it to me?
Oh,
I
did you
was
send
waiting
that
for
in?
it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes!
Yeah.
Ah! This was Kat's BFF special homework assignment where it was last week we asked who would be crazy enough to take Liliana to prom? And the answer we came up with on this show last week on Sketch and Scotch was
Mr. Bolus.
Bolus. And we wanted to see a picture of Bolus and Liliana at prom together.
What is Chandra saying?
That is so magical.
Thank you so much, Kat's BFF. That's great. Oh,
That's
Chandra
not-
accidentally melted the disco ball. That's what's up there.
Oh, I didn't do that. That's what she's saying. I didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
Do that because she didn't. Nice. And the floor, she's like melting the dance floor and melting the disco ball. Oh my gosh, that kills me. Poison Stripes just got their squom work in.
Altman be praised. Let the church help make you whole. Very cool.
Again, that goes back to like your strong shape and symbolism right there.
I love, and that's kind of what we were trying to come across is like, I was noticing the really strong lines and strong colors drawing the eye. It's a very reductive art style where you reduce it down to these great lines and hard lines to draw the eye.
Yeah.
It's from Dead Space, and then she plans on coloring it.
That would make it quite bold.
Yeah, and so I liked how that's kind of what people were gathering overall was like the simplifying things down and the strong lines.
So you guys ready for squam work then?
Dan said he spent most of his time reworking Steve's face so he didn't look like a lunatic.
But I do look like a lunatic.
Yeah. No,
I've come to accept it.
Easy on the realism.
Yeah, that's what it really is don't make it realistic. You need him to look human.
we had 15 people submit squirm work and J-Doodles this time. That's an all-time high. That makes me super happy. Thank you, guys. Steve, you ready to give us our squirm work for next week?
Sketch and Scotch squam work. Steampunk Nintendo characters. So it can be any Nintendo character, but let's keep it in like the Nintendo franchises.
I don't know.
Brittany
what it is,
whispers, Nintendo owns Pokemon game franchise.
There you go.
And then evil finger steeple.
Hey, I'm doing that right now.
Controller
Actually.
Freak hopes that they can find time. I hope you can too. So people seem like they're excited. We hope that you are excited enough to do your squirm work and come back. And even if you don't do your squirm work, come back and visit us again next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Tell your friends, tell your family, like and follow and love and everything, all of the stuff. And we hope to see you guys again next week.
Ditto. I'm excited to see you guys next week.
All you guys, that we really appreciate you being a part of the show. Everyone, we appreciate you being a part of the show. We hope to inspire you to be creative in some way, even if it's not arting. Go out and be creative. Make something. Make the world a better place. Bring people up. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.